Abraham, peace be on him, the father of mankind. He is the father of mankind, according to Islamic teaching. And others refer to him as father too. He had a special kind of sensitivity for this awareness. And when we look at his story, he is desiring to find the essential logic for what he should give his attention to, what is most important, that will govern and regulate and grow and allow for his life to reach its conclusion in satisfaction and contentment, to discover or to attain, to discover and to attain the destiny. This was his hope. So he took a special interest in the study of his own people. And he considered what his discovery was against what he had learned about the universal or overarching logic of creation itself. He had come to some conclusions about this based upon his study of his own self, looking at himself and looking at his environment. And this was the special attention of his study, himself and his environment. And he came to some conclusions. And his conclusions were that there is a consistent and prevailing law of unity that governs everything. And behind that law of unity is a designator, a designer, a fashioner. And that his creation is owing to that Lord, because in that recognition, he determined that this designer cares for what he has designed. And so Abraham reasoned that that Lord cared about him and intended for him to go through this process. And also intended that he be interested in and work for introducing that logic into the lives of all people, all humans. And so he he applied this logic to his own observation of his own people. And he concluded that they had values, high values. And they had a society worth preservation. But that all that were members in that society were not respected. And that the informed in the society were manipulating the uninformed. He came to see this in their idol worship. He came to see that in their raising idols, that there was some benefits in the sense that the idols themselves were tributes to high principles, high and valuable principles, but that only the informed were aware of that, and that the uninformed were not invited into that knowledge or into that awareness. And so, by way of the connection between what he had come to as a conclusion about human life and its creator, he made commentary on the state of affairs in his own society. And his commentary was that you inform people, you have taken advantage. And even though you have a great society that is worthy of preservation and respect, the extent to which you have taken advantage by not informing or educating the population will eventually lead to your destruction. And so he said in his commentary, let me show the truth of the matter, that you'll come to the conclusion that you should preserve your high civilization and these important principles that uphold it, but in recognition of the one who created it and created that sensitivity for you, or created that sensitivity for you to discover in yourself. And so he destroyed all the idols except the big one. And this was the formation of the covenant between Abraham and God. This is Abraham's covenant. To identify that man has been created with a destiny, and in discovery of that destiny is also a study of man's origin. And in the study of man's origin is and nature, I mean nature and origin. Nature, this is what I'm referring to, origin. First father. In a study of that, there is a connection with, or there is a relationship with the plan for universal order fashioned by the Lord Creator. And that principle must be preserved, it must be taught, it must be protected, and it is salvation for man. This is the covenant of Abraham. In every human society, its progress toward civilization, or its failure, or its successes and failures, have to do with that study and recognition in themselves. And every inquiry into the life of man's progress on this earth, and our observations of each other as ethnic groups or nations or tribes or whatever, is a recognition of this discussion of Abraham. The African American people, they also have this discussion. And to the degree that we fail as a people in answering the challenge of the discussion, explains social ineptness, inabilities.